Hi there. I'm going to now walk you through how to do the administrator settings, that is the user option settings that are accessible only to the administrator. This is very important because if you want to give therapy for a prolonged period of time, you should know how to manage the settings. That's the only way you can manage the database, which is very important. So when you install TFE Aphasia 108, you will see these two icons. And this is TFE Aphasia 108U, which is the user version. And you can see there. And the other one is TFE Aphasia 108A, is the administrator version. This version has this blue dot. This is the version that is to be used by the patient. And this is the administrator module, which is to be used by the administrator who will be managing the patient's therapy. So now I'll walk through this. I'm going to double click on this. Okay, the first thing that comes up is the login. Now to do the administrator settings, you need to log in as the administrator. And by this, I do not mean the Windows login. This has nothing to do with Windows login. It's the built-in login system of this software. And this is the ID you do have to use, admin@program.zxq.net. Now, this is not a real email ID. It is just an arbitrary ID that I have created to identify this as the administrator. So please make a note of this. This is the ID you have to put in here, and this is the password that you have to put in. The password is the admin, that is without any all of them in small case, no spaces. The admin, THEADMIN, admin, the admin. Okay, so now I log in. Okay, this looks very similar to the user version, that is TFE Aphasia U, except when you log in as administrator, you will notice that there are two options, user, administrator, whereas in the user module, this would be disabled. In the administrator module, this is enabled. When you click on this, you'll see the change of color, user, administrator. In the user mode, all these are same as the user module. You can do the therapy of using the 10 applications. You can save the scores and also the patient diary. And in the administrator mode, the administrator module of each application becomes visible, and you can manipulate the database of each of the 10 applications. Now, as it is, you will not have a necessity or requirement to bother with manipulating or changing the database, because 100 records have been already uploaded in each of the 10 applications, 100 here, 100 there, etc., into each and every one of the 10 applications. It's already uploaded, and and at any point in time while the therapy goes on, the only 10 records are actually visible to the patient. And I will now walk you through how you set these 10 records for the patient to work on. Go to the register users application. This is the application you use to register new users and also to change the user options for any of the users. In this case, I have got 7 users. The first one is a guest user, guest. and I can navigate using this button. The next one is the admin, which I've just shown you. Admin is also a user, registered user, and then etc. Okay, I'm not going to show you how to change the options for this user. Uh, you will notice this box here: add record, modify record, delete record, and browse. Just navigate. Now, while doing the changing the user settings, what you need to do is modify record. That's all you need to do. So click on modify record, and you'll see that this button becomes enabled with this icon, modify record. Now I'll go through some of the most important settings. You will notice these options here for the 10 applications: app 1, app 2, etc. to app 10. And you have a number setting here for each of the applications, which can be changed. Right now it is set at 1. So when it is set as 1, the records that will be visible will be from number 1 to number 10. You change it to number 2, then number 11 to 20 would be visible. Change it to 3, number 21 to 30, etc. And as 100 records have been uploaded, you can go up to 9, 10. At setting of 10, it will be record number 91 to 100, which will be visible. If you do go above that, it does allow at the moment. I made it flexible because in case we do upload more records in the future. So if you set it at the moment to 11, number 11, the program realizes that you've gone past the 100 records and assumes that you would like to look at all of the records. So when you set it at 11, you will not get an error, but what you will get is records from 1 to 100. All the 100 will come visible. We do not really want that for the patient. We want just 10 records at any one time. So let us now change this to 2 for each of the applications. Now, as it is set in most of the applications, the first 10 records are the simplest. The next 10 records would be slightly more difficult, so on and so forth. The most difficult would be the last 10 records. However, in some of the applications, the type of records are also changed quite a bit. So if you navigate through the records, you know what is being available for the particular number. Now, the patient as such may continue with the 10 records that you have set for a certain length of time, say maybe 10 days or a month, depending on the progress, and after which the patient will be working through these records more from memory than from any real working out of the logic. So you would like to change the records or make it a little bit more difficult, in which case you will need to then change the setting here and change the records. Okay, having changed this, and one more thing, this is as far as the record sets go. We have 4 more options here. Option level, memory, audio level, and random. I will go through this later because you can leave them at these default settings for now. The way they operate is quite complicated. They would change the way some of the applications actually work. So this again has to do with the difficulty level, and depending on the progress, you may want to change these settings later. I'll go through this later. Now the random checkbox is given here. If you check it, then the records of each of the application would be displayed at random. It will not be sequential. I would leave it unchecked for now. So the records would come sequentially. That means 1, then 2, 3, etc. Having said this, and one more thing, here you can change the language. For now, English and the voice. Very important, because these are voices that you have to install on the patient's computer. When this application is installed, of course, Windows 7 come with some default voices. In fact, it comes with the default Microsoft Anna, which is not so good in some cases, because you may find it a bit very slow and difficult to follow sometimes. I have installed some of these eSpeak voices. So I'm going to select this eSpeak EN for English. I've selected that, and this is the speed can be selected. -5 is okay. And I now have to click modify record. Record has been modified. So this is where it will remain for this patient guest. Okay,